So, it looks like another versus battle. Hooray! This one's gonna be a lot shorter because it's a one-on-one one. So I feel like this one's gonna be a lot shorter compared to most of them. So, today, by looking at the thumbnail, today we're gonna talk about what would happen if we got to see Pucci versus Josuke. How would it go down? Well, I'm gonna say how I think this fight would go down. Had we gotten a Josuke versus Pucci battle, I'll be scaling them, talk about the most likely outcomes in a battle, and overall who would probably win. So with that out of the way, let's start the scaling. But before we start the video, I gotta give a special thanks to someone. Thank you to Ice Pucci for requesting this battle. And he's also requested some other videos which I plan to cover in the future. But I did a poll to see which versus battle would be first. I actually got a few of them, so I do plan to cover you guys in the future. Don't worry about that. But, yeah, that's kind of all. And, hope you enjoy this video. So the first character we're going to scale today is the crazy delinquent with a heart of gold and the will that's unbreakable as diamond. And that's Josuke Higashikata. Now, I have technically scaled Josuke before in my Death Note versus kind of crossover thing where it was like Light versus the Warriors and all that stuff. So, yeah. And I guess I'll just rescale him here. This is a stand Crazy Diamond. Now, when it comes to Crazy Diamond stats, here they are. Strength and speed are A. It's got a D in range. Its durability and precision are both B, while its potential being a C, which are overall some alright stats, I guess, with its strength and speed being its best things. Now, as for what Crazy Diamond is mostly well known for, Crazy Diamond's main ability is to mostly heal. Now, Crazy Diamond can mostly heal his partners and all that, and basically that's kind of all he can do, while also being able to rearrange stuff and basically kind of manipulate it in some type of weird way. Now, some of Crazy Diamond's best healing feats includes the fact that he was able to, like an exploding Hayato, he was able to save him, while also being able to heal a donut wound, which in JoJo, we never really see that happen that much. Now, Crazy Diamond can not only heal people, but he can also heal objects as well. This includes stuff like walls and etc. And not only that, but he can also basically bring stuff back to what it used to look like. Like, for example, he was the man Josuke was able to uncook freaking spaghetti. And not only that, but another kind of impressive feat is that he is more of a punchy ghost, meaning he's obviously going to throw barrages, but his stand was able to compete with Star Platinum. The same Star Platinum that was able to compete with the stand The World that's possessed by Dio. One of the strongest anime characters, Dio. But to be fair, Crazy Diamond mostly got the jump on Jotaro, as Josuke's best speed is 300 kilometers per hour, which, as I stated, is not faster than light and nowhere near that. That's like Ferrari speed, like at best. And those are pretty fast, I'll say that, but like, they're nowhere near faster than light speed, and not by a long shot faster than light whatsoever. But Josuke makes this up by having an extra ability on hand, which isn't really an ability, but more of him adapting, and that he can able to finger flick bullets. You know, like if you put something in between your thumb and index and flick it over, like how kids used to do with like spitballs or whatever. Josuke can do that with bullets or other hardened objects, and was even able to use it in some creative ways, like against Kira, where he used Kira's own blood to track him down so he can hit him with it. Which he could realistically do the same thing here. And overall, that's Josuke scaling, which I don't think I went as deep as I did last time. If you want a more in-depth scale, you can kind of look at my previous scale for the Death Note one, but from what this is, I think this is kind of the best way to scale Josuke at this moment. So now let's talk about the dangerous priest that was able to reset the entire universe, Enrico Pucci, or Father Pucci if you want to call him that. Now, when it comes to Pucci, He has 3 stands. Yes, 3 stands. But I'm only going to separate this to 3 rounds and talk about how Josuke would do against each individual stand. So we'll start off with his first stand and his weakest one, Whitesnake. Now, as for Whitesnake's stats, here are what they look like. Mostly everything's unknown. All we know is that his speed is D and his durability is A, which, while speed sucks, granted, his durability makes up for it, which is actually a pretty good idea. But there's something. His speed is kinda contradicted, but the fact that not Josuke, but Pucci was able to take Jotaro's disc, and Jotaro, as stated earlier, is extremely very fast. But to be fair, this was Pucci with prep time, and this is more of just an intelligence scaling at that point than a speed scale. And if you want some actual combat with Whitesnake experience, here's its combat experience against someone like Jolene. Now, to be fair, Jolene's not a pushover, she's not weak by any means, but Pucci's getting obliterated in that fight. Like, it's not even funny how bad Pucci gets destroyed. And Jolene is nowhere near as strong as Jotaro. And if we're kind of saying who wins between Josuke and Jolene, most likely Josuke wins a fight against Jolene. Unless Jolene big brains him, which seems possible and probably would happen. But if we're going on sheer strength alone, Josuke can defeat Jolene. So realistically, at that point, Whitesnake gets completely fodderized by Josuke. This is mainly due to the fact that Crazy Diamond was able to compete with Star Platinum for a little bit, and the fact that Star Platinum is faster than Stone Free, and the fact that Stone Free is downright making Pucci, basically obliterating Pucci to a point where it's kind of funny. But, like, that's kind of the thing. I don't think Josuke is going to lose to Whitesnake in an actual hand-to-hand fight, in my honest opinion. And I think Crazy Diamond is just going to downright destroy Enrico Pucci in this kind of fight. So, in my honest opinion, overall, round 1, going against Whitesnake and Crazy Diamond, we're going to say Crazy Diamond and Josuke win. Also, side note, I kind of forgot Pucci also had other abilities while in the making of this video, so, stupid me. But to be fair, a lot of those abilities most likely would not be used in a one-on-one situation like this. So yeah, that kind of is the thing. I guess that ain't gonna count here. So now granted, Pucci has lost the first round, can he make up for the second round? Well, let's talk about a second stand, Sea Moon. Now, as for Sea Moon, here are its stats. Its strength is never announced, while having a speed and range of B with everything else all unknown. So, looking at that, a never announced strength. Now, it's mostly kind of one of those things where the stand's just too overpowered at that point, so it's unknown / never announced what it can do. But speed and range being B are pretty good, to be fair, and it's kind of a good upgrade to Whitesnake's D speed. Now, as for Sea Moon's main abilities, anything Sea Moon touches will end up being affected by gravity. It will probably cause something to, not probably, but actually cause something to explode due to its gravitational system. And this literally happens to Jolene's hand. Like, it's just, she also breaks her leg in the fight because of it. And the whole time, Sea Moon is obliterating the team with this main ability because he's basically melting people away. And there is no real way. I don't think Josuke is going to win this fight. You could bring up the argument that, well, Josuke has Crazy Diamond that can heal, so that works. But there's a problem with that, and I didn't bring it up until now because I kind of wanted to build up suspense. Well, true, Crazy Diamond can heal. It has a drawback. Josuke cannot be healed with Crazy Diamond whatsoever. Whether these injuries are super brutal, or whether these injuries are kinda light, Josuke cannot heal himself. Whether the injuries are just very light, or they're just super duper brutal. So, any hit Josuke takes in that fight could be the end of the battle and most likely lead to him dying against Seamoon. So once Seamoon touches Josuke, and Josuke's hand is now exploding out of its own skin, you bet at that point Josuke has no other options but to die or just retreat. Now, the only real way he could maybe stand a chance with Seamoon is if he tries to do the finger flick thing, and debatably that could work, but then again, Seamoon could realistically use gravitational pull to counter it in some way, probably as the fact that he was able to make stuff like walls manipulate into stuff, so you can realistically turn a wall into a shield for him, kind of similar how Josuke did against Kira that one fight. So it realistically, he could probably shield himself from Josuke's finger flick attacks, and his only hope would be to pull something similar off against Kira. So overall, Seamoon has taken the W for round 2, but Josuke may win under the right circumstances, which I doubt, to be honest, because Pucci's Seamoon is most likely going to win because of gravitational pull and stuff. And now my third and final round / the third and final round of the Slaughterfest is Made in Heaven. Now, what is Made in Heaven's ability, and why did I call this third round of the Slaughterfest? Well, here's what Made in Heaven's stats are like. Yeah, you can see that speed has an infinity sign on it. And if you're wondering why, it's because Made in Heaven is so fast, it affects time itself and could cause the universe to reset. So in other words, you can basically just do the Big Bang Theory in a nutshell. Meaning that he could realistically reset the universe and basically keep resetting it on and on and on to a point where Josuke is probably going to be struck by calamity. There is no real way Josuke could win. And you're going to tell me that Josuke is faster than light. Okay, tell me what's going to win a race. A Ferrari? Or a stand that is fast is basically the speed of infinity? That seems like such a complicated question, totally without a doubt. So in other words, in a one-on-one fight, Josuke is going to probably get slaughtered against Made in Heaven, and it's not really even close. Josuke may try to do some moves, but Josuke is just going to end up getting the same fate as Jotaro and his team. He's just going to probably get killed somehow. Whether it be him trying to throw a barrage and get his arms chopped off, whether he gets donut or something, whether he gets slit and bleed out, either way, Josuke cannot counter Made in Heaven in this kind of scenario if it's just him alone. But if we give Josuke help for the sake of the story, like, let's say if we give him the team from, like, the Made in Heaven fight. Let's say if Jolene, Hermes, Anasui, and Jotaro and Emporio are all there. Maybe Josuke is involved in part 6 for the sake of this whole thing. Could Josuke win then? Well, maybe. Now, a lot of people like to say this whole Josuke is a game changer thing, but still, in the final fight against Made in Heaven, Josuke may not have even been a game changer, to be honest. Crazy Diamond's good and all, but, like, it's more than likely that Pucci's probably just going to take him out first, or probably one of the first, when he realizes that Josuke and Anasui are his biggest threats. It seems more than likely that before he knocks everyone else away into the water, he's probably just going to kill Josuke right there. Even if Josuke lives long enough to kind of be there, it seems more than likely that even after everyone else is dead, Josuke is just going to get killed, because there's really nothing Crazy Diamond can do against Made in Heaven. If we give him the full-blown Part 6 team, then maybe again, because you have Foo Fighters, who's Plankton, and I technically did that what if. And plus you have Weather Report on the team. But even then, Josuke's not going to carry the fight. Quite the opposite. He's going to be the one getting carried through the fight. But then again, so would characters like Jolene and Hermes and Emporio. So, like, realistically, yeah, Josuke wouldn't be able to do much. But if we're going with the Moria Warriors, then debatable. I don't know. If we're putting the Moria Warriors in that place, then they'd probably still lose. So, yeah, you got that. So, like, realistically, Made in Heaven's just gonna destroy Josuke. It's the truth. He's got really nothing on him. So, my conclusion, round 1, Josuke wins. Round 2 and 3, Pucci wins, because Sea Moon and Maiden Heaven. So my overall conclusion, Pucci wins a majority of his fights with Josuke, unless we're going with the route that it's Whitesnake versus Crazy Diamond. So that's kind of my conclusion to how I think this fight would go out. Thanks for everyone for watching, and a special thanks to Ice Pucci for requesting this video idea. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope I gave it justice. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all next time.